Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you a new series. What if Kurama gave Naruto all of his powers? In the pain arc guys, yes, Kurama gave up all of his powers and in turn died, making sure that his container would go on living and change the world. However, Kurama didn't just die like that. He had knowledge, things that he wanted to tell Naruto, so much things that will help him become the greatest. And with this newfound power and knowledge, Naruto has a new outlook on life. So many things that he was gonna do and change. Well, if you want to hear more of that guys, just place your feet up, kick back, relax, and yeah, enjoy. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels I need. I have 4 of them guys, which I post what fun every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. The links to the other channels will be down below in the description, so go ahead, check them out and enjoy. So without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this? Begin now guys. Uzumaki Naruto. He was by far the greatest human that the Kyuubi had come to know. He was honest, trusting, and most important, he was loyal. The Fox could describe him in so many other ways, but they would do little to credit how great the Uzumaki really was. It was surprising to the Fox how much he was like Mito and Kushin, and yet universally different. And the Fox did not hold the same feelings for those two that he did for Naruto. Unlike with his 2 previous Jinchuriki hosts, he was sealed inside of Naruto when he was just born, so he was able to watch as Naruto life unfold right in front of him. The Fox watched as Naruto forgave those that wronged him, how he would never forsake those who would internally hurt or betray him, how he fought for those who he cared for. Uzumaki Naruto was one of the purest beings that the Kyuubi had the honor of knowing. It wanted to do more for him, it really did. Unfortunately, for the 2, it could not. That blasted fourth Hokage and his seal. The Fox spat out mentally, as he was really upset. If it was not for the effectiveness of the seal that contained the great being of chakra, the Kyuubi would have been more than happy to allow Naruto more usage of his power after finding out about his true nature. However, the seal placed on Naruto was just too good. It did not allow the Fox to give its power to Naruto without Naruto consent. It kept a constant stream flowing from the Fox inside of Naruto, and it also kept away any influence that might try to corrupt Naruto's mind. Not that the Fox wanted to corrupt Naruto at this point. Naruto could also forcefully draw on his chakra, but that was only in dire situations when Naruto was angry. However, the biggest problem with this seal, and compared to other seals on other Jinchuriki, was that this one was killing the Kyuubi. It was the main reason why the Kyuubi despised the fort more than Madara. Uchiha Madara used the Kyuubi, used its strength to control him and do his biddings. Yet even Madara could not do what Namikaze Minato had done. The Fox hated the fort with every fiber of its being, but it did acknowledge the strength that the young man possessed. The fort was the first person to effectively kill a Biju. It might not have happened yet, but it was doing so nonetheless. He was the first human to ever create a combination of seals that was deteriorating the Biju chakra to the point that it would no longer exist. It was for this reason why the Kyuubi refrained to give Naruto its power throughout all these years since his birth. The concept of death scared the Kyuubi. Never had he had to face a concept like that beforehand. However, from time to time it gave up chakra whenever Naruto was in a dire situation and came for rent. But it would always keep from giving him too much. The Fox was becoming gradually weaker and it knew that. It is why it was making sure not to let out all of its power. The more it gave, the more it lost. But the power that the Fox loses, it lied dormant inside of Naruto. As Naruto was not aware of that, It is why over the years Naruto started to have more control over the Fox power. It was not because of training but the seal. He could always control the Kyuubi's chakra, but he just did not have enough of his chakra to use yet. When Naruto saw Sasuke's death at the hands of Haku, he first drew on the Fox power. He did not realize it, but subconsciously he was in complete control of the Kyuubi's power. It happened once again once he fought Sasuke at the Valley of the End. Whether Naruto wanted to believe it or not, the Fox did not willingly save him. Of course, by then the Kyuubi had come to see Naruto more than just a normal human and would save him, but the seal did not approve of such action. It was only when Naruto started to take more of the Fox power that is when he started to lose control. During his training, they tried to push more of the power, but Naruto could only control three-tail worth. But they did not stop there though, they kept on pushing. He had lost his control and lashed out, and carved a nasty gash right into his chest. And that also happened again with the battle with Orochimaru. He went overboard. The Fox had no say in the matter because the seal was killing it. It was a being that never had to face death before, and now death was coming for it. Unfortunately for the Biju, it no longer had time on its side, it seems. It watches Naruto complete his new sage training as he returned to the village that the Fox was once hell-bent on destroying. It watched and felt all the emotion that Naruto felt when he saw the village that he loved so much in the state of nothing but destruction. The Fox felt the rage, the anger, as it watched as Naruto fought the god of destruction that had ascended upon Konoha. It watched as Naruto fought with all of its might, but pain turned the tables and pinned Naruto down. The female Hyuga jumped onto the scene. She tried to stop pain. She tried to save Naruto. She even told him that she loved him. But she failed in the end. Naruto's mind had then broken as he descended into fury and rage. He yanked 6 tail worth of power from the Fox, losing himself in the process. It took everything that Pain had just to evade death, as Naruto had lost control. But 6 tail was not enough as Pain proceeded to send out an orb that pulled Naruto from the ground to the heavens, trapping him inside of a gigantic ball of earth. But Naruto was not done, as his mind was still focused on ending Pain, as he was continuously drawing more chakra. As the Fox knew that it was his time, but he would do what he can to make sure that his container comes out of this alive. As it turned its gaze forward, meanwhile Naruto's eyes opened up as he woke up in the sewer. He hated everything about this place. The smell, the sight, the feeling. It made him sick being in his own mindscape. But he did not let his true thoughts out. He was too haggard to even think straight. His fight had gone downhill so fast, and he hated himself for succumbing to the Kyuubi's power. But he just wanted the pain to go away. Clutching his head, Naruto collapsed down to his knees as ripple spread through the water. Just make it go away, Naruto begged. Someone help me, he begged out. Give me your heart. The voice of the Fox came out. I will save you from this pain. Naruto glanced up as he looked towards the massive beast. He did not protest as he leaned back. His jacket burst open. The seal appeared and started to morph and leak. The blood that started to leak from the seal mixed with the water that Naruto was currently sitting in. Yes, that's it. Now come and pull this seal off. As Naruto walked until he was brought up by the water, his hands wrapped around the seal before he was pushed away. The Fox released a low growl. You, he said. Naruto did not know what was going on. As he looked up, as he saw the man's face, he instantly recognized who it was, seeing the face so much times on the rock formation or in the Hokage office. For Hokage, he said, the seal is set so that if 8 tail is released, I will appear in your consciousness. I didn't want that to happen, because I never wanted to see you again, 9 tails, said Minato. However, I did look forward to see how much my son have grown. So I guess you could call it even then. Upon seeing the man that the Kyuubi despised the most, it lost itself in rage. Fort Hokage, face me, he said. I'll tear you to shreds. Now why would I face someone that's gonna tear me to shreds? As Minato turned away. Anyways, Naruto, he said. As Naruto's mind was stunned at what was going on. As he did hear the Fort Hokage said son, but... how do you know my name, said Naruto. As Minato's smile seemed to grow, well, I gave you your name. You're my kid after all. Naruto was still confused. Kid? You mean... Yeah, like I just said. You're my son, said Minato. Naruto could feel a liquid forming in the corner of his eyes. The trouble that was plaguing his mind a minute ago had all but vanished. Happiness, unlike anything that he ever felt before, filled him to his core. He couldn't believe what was happening to his hero, the man that he idolized, was actually his father. He had always dreamed of having a father like his idol, but to hear that the fourth Hokage is actually his dad, it filled him with something that he had long forgotten about. Peace. It all made sense now. Why he was chosen as the container of the ninth tail. Why he always admired the fourth, and most importantly, why he was who he was. In his bliss, he did not notice that the seal had stopped bleeding and faded away. As Naruto's laughter slipped through his lips, as his face curved up into a smile. However, the fox shouted, "Damn you, fourth!" he yelled. Its anger had not diminished in the slightest. It was seconds away of saving Naruto, and now that fool had to interfere. However, it knew how the last scene would have probably looked to any others watching. To the fourth, it probably looked like the Kyuubi was trying to escape, but the fox had given up trying to get freedom a long time ago. Not even the fourth Hokage seemed to realize how powerful the Shinigami seal that he made a deal with was. The fourth Hokage was probably under the impression that the combination of seals would lock their chakra together, creating an ordinary Jinchuriki, whose Bicho would be released upon the host's death. But no, what he did was create a super seal that would have killed the Kyuubi, even if Naruto died or not, because there was the other cause of his death, the combination of the both of their chakra fusing together. It was nowhere close to Kushina or Mito seal or any other Jinchuriki seal out there. Many people saw the fox as a being of hatred and death and destruction, and they would not be wrong about that, but what they did not know was, the fox was in love with Naruto. No, not the kind of love that a man and a woman would share. It loved Naruto in a way that a parent would love their child. It was a feeling that the fox had never yet feel and learned how to understand, but over the years, he accepted that feeling, watching Naruto as he grew. It was because of such feelings, he knew that he could not let Minato take Naruto away. There was things that had to be done. As the fox scoffed, he originally wanted his son to have the power to protect this world, and here the fox was about to oblige and Minato was unknowingly refusing to give Naruto that. "This guy sure is noisy. Let's go somewhere else," said Minato. He slammed his claw on the cage. "No, wait!" he yelled. Naruto looked up in confusion, wondering why the fox didn't want them to leave. He shrugged it off as an attempt for the fox to throw more insult his way. However, the fox cried out, "Please, Naruto, don't leave me," he said, his tone sounding desperate. Minato was about to snap his fingers to get them out of there, but Naruto grabbed his hand, stopping him. Minato wore a face of confusion as he looked toward his son, stern expression. The fox had never spoken to him like that before. Whenever it spoke, its voice was filled with domination, power. Yet what Naruto just heard was weak, trembling, and scared. Never in his 16 years of life Naruto would think such a thing would come from the monster's mouth. As Naruto turned his sights upon the fox, he needed to know what he wanted. The fox saw that their attention was gradually turning towards him. "Please, I can't do this much longer," he said. "I want to right the wrongs I've committed. I need you to trust me," he said. As Naruto was gravely confused, he had never seen this side of the fox before, ever. He didn't know how to place his finger on him, but the way the fox was acting just made him seem so weak. And if there was one thing that Naruto knew, the fox was not weak. As Naruto released his father's hand, ignoring his father's protests. "What do you mean?" he said, stepping forward. The fox then went on to explain itself, telling it too that the fourth seal actually worked, much to Minato's surprise, and how it had grown to see Naruto much more than just a lonely human. The fox was at its rope's end here, and it wanted Naruto to know everything. His whole tale began with the Kyuubi and the Sage of Six Paths. How the sage trapped the Kyuubi in himself, and on his deathbed, he separated the power. He trapped the physical body into the moon while the spiritual part was separated into 9 components. The fox made a note saying that it was far stronger than any of the other portions, by a lot. From there he told the story behind Uchiha Madara and Senju Hoshirama, the real story. How they were once friends in childhood and they became enemies as respected clan heads. Later on they came to an agreement that established the first ninja village, Konoha. Madara was also the first one to name the village. As the fox told the history of the hidden leaf as best he could. From the truth behind the Uchiha massacre, from the truth behind Danzo Shamura always seeming to play things to lead to some sort of war. Minato had to interrupt the story. He was confused. How in the world could the fox know all of this if he was trapped this entire time? It made no sense. The fox went over Mito and Kushina. So Naruto was understandably confused as well. How the fox knew all of this. Upon the question he replied, while all of the Bijus separated from the original body of the Jobe, we all have a subliminal connection to the body that sleep within the moon. Through it, the Bijus can communicate with one another no matter where they are. However, we do it very rarely, but I am the strongest and whole, the greatest connection out of all my kin. As such, I am the only one that can see what is going on around the world around me, whether I am trapped or not. Minato merely nodded, still not trusting the fox, but he understood what he was saying. The Nine Tails did not care about him, though he was not trying to persuade him, but Naruto. The fox did not know how long they were there, hours, days. It didn't really care, but it would leave Naruto everything that it knew. He would have to know everything for the coming battles. It then spoke about how a masked man using the name Madara attacked Konoha. It retold the entire story of Naruto's birth. However, it revealed that the masked man that attacked Konoha was actually Obito Uchiha, who was persuaded by Madara Uchiha to go along with his Moon Eye plan. This was where Minato's attitude towards the whole thing came to a screeching halt. Okay, enough of this, said Minato. You want me to believe that one of my own students that was seen being crushed to death survived, and was nursed back to health by someone that should have been killed by the first Hokage. And not only that, he became this villain who was hell-bent on making a fake world for himself. That is just preposterous. Obito was one of the most caring and compassionate kids I knew. He would never do such a thing. The fox was not insulted by Minato's interruption. Instead, he told him about Obito fall into madness, as Kakashi had killed Rin. Upon doing that, Obito had saw and lost himself into the Uchiha rage. However, Minato refused to believe that that person was Obito. No, I don't believe you, he said. I'm done listening to these far-fetched stories. The fox knew that Obito would be a sore topic, that is why he left it for the last part. But he did not care what the fourth Hokage say. All that mattered was Naruto, who was quiet this entire time. Some of the things that the fox said was true, which Minato knew they were true because, yes, he knew of them. However, he could not tell if the rest were real or fake. Minato still couldn't believe that his seal was actually killing the Bichu as well. There were other stories that threw him off, but the one about Obito, he couldn't take that one. He was done listening. Come on, Naruto, he said. No. Minato paused. He turned towards Naruto. He saw the look in his eyes, that determination, that drive, that he saw in himself when he took the mantle of fourth Hokage. As Naruto took a step further, closer to the fox cage. I'm sorry, Dad, he said, but our conversation is gonna have to wait. I have listed everything you have to say, Kyuubi, but through it, I've become very confused. What does all of this have to do with you and me, Naruto asked. The fox lowered its head so it could be somewhere close to eye level with the boy, as Naruto could swear that he saw tears in the fox's eyes. As I've said, I've watched you since the day that you were born. I have grown to care for you in ways that you may never understand. I have known about my incoming demise for 16 years. Within those 16 years, I've reflected upon many things that I've hated about the human race. Yet when I see you, I feel no hatred or see none. I see a speck of light that illuminates through the darkness with a feeling of nothing but warmness and happiness, radiating off that speck of light. I am tired of seeing humans make the same idiotic mistake time and time again. Within you, I see the change that is needed for the ninja village to finally come within peace. I see the sage, no, I see something greater inside of you, he said, as Naruto was enticed by the words. As Naruto looked down, as he felt like he was holding something, but strangely there was nothing there. As Naruto looked back up, okay, he said, tell me what to do. A smile came across the fox's face. Come. and removed the seal. I'll give you all I have, he said. As Naruto started to step forward until Naruto, Minato stopped him with a hand on his shoulder. Consider what you're doing, he said. This is a Kyuubi. He's lying to you to get what he wants. This is just a ploy to get you to remove the seal and release him. That was very logical, and Naruto already thought of that as a huge possibility. However, throughout all the history stories that the fox told him, Naruto learned one thing: trust. If the people that made up Naruto's history had just trusted one another, things would have been so much more different. Yet, trust was so hard to get. Trust was just so hard to find. If people had trusted one another, the world would have been a better place for it. If the founders of Konoha were more trusting of Madara, maybe he would have been the Hokage, and so much would have changed. With their trust, he wouldn't have seek anything else, because there wouldn't be any contentment, any hatred. If the second and more officials were trusting of the Uchihas, it would have led to that hatred. If Danzo had trusted the third, then maybe so much hatred and war would not spread. If even Kakashi would have trusted his teammates more, maybe Obito and Ren would be fighting on their side. If Sasuke could have trusted him more, maybe his defection wouldn't have happened, and he wouldn't be an international criminal. Trust. Someone had to make a first step of trusting people. There was so much more outcome if people would just trust one another. Naruto brought his hand up and rested on his father's arm. Thanks, Dad, he said, for everything that you did to protect me and the village. But from what I have learned, I believe it's time for people to start to put more trust in what they believe and care for, said Naruto. So, let's start, he said. Minato watched as Naruto pulled the hand away from his shoulder and stepped to the seal. The way Naruto trusted the fox made Minato trust the Biju as well. He didn't know how or why, but seeing his son smile at that made him believe that everything would be just fine. Soon a smile came on his face. However, it turned to a sad smile as he wouldn't be able to stay here for too long. The image of a newborn filled Minato's mind. Seeing the newborn Naruto progress into this man in front of him, he was the man that Minato always wanted him to be, and so much more. A small tear ran down his cheek as he wiped it away. As his chakra was starting to destabilize, as Naruto started to pull the seal from the Kyuubi's cage, Minato couldn't help but be proud. Proud of the man that his son had turned into. Another tear started to form, but his chakra was too far gone. As a last semblance of chakra finished Minato off, he could only think of the future his son would have with his friends and loved ones. You would be so proud of him, Kushina-chan, he said, as he gave his son a parting smile. Naruto felt his father's chakra fade away behind him. He didn't know how, but he felt it. As Naruto reached out towards a keyhole, there was an audible click as the spiral started folding on itself until it was gone. The cage was then opened as the beast emerged. It held out its hand as Naruto landed right in its palm. So, what happens now, said Naruto. The fox smiled, a trusting, warm smile. Now, I give you everything I can, he said, so that you can do what so many have failed before you. Bring peace, he said. As the fox grinned spread across his face, a grin full of warmth and happiness, passing on to Naruto. The fox closed his hand around the boy as he forced all of his chakra out. His body started to dematerialize as a bright flash consumed everything in the mindscape, lighting up all the darkness. A beautiful white light of tranquility spread through the area. Meanwhile, back outside, Pain looked on from a long distance away as the Shibuya no Tensei was obliterated. All the giant stones were obliterated by an unseen white light of force that seemed to crack and wipe all of them away. Through the falling rubbles and specks of dirt that fell back to the earth, the Rinnegan picked up on something moving. Something incredibly fast moving back down, faster than all the dropping debris. Pain covered his face as smoke and dust filled the area. It took several minutes for him to see what came out of his strongest jutsu. It was a sight that he would never forget. As a new Naruto stood in front of him, this Naruto was covered completely by flaming yellow chakra. His chakra took the form of a cloak that resembled the fourth Hokage, but it looked tattered and had chakra whips that seemed to drift off the end of it, but the tattered was intentional as it was cut in 9 different parts. There was a black bar that traveled up it as it originated from the middle of his back. There was also several megatama etched into the cloak. He also had another set of megatama around his neck, which made Pain think of the Sage of Six Paths. His seal was visible, but it now expanded as it became a large open circle. As Naruto's torso was covered in a black undergarment, his hair was now spiking up. The front part of his hair spiked up like 2 horns. His whiskers were now bulky like a black tattoo bar in his face. The black bars spread all over his feet and arms. However, his eyes, they were red and slitted. Pain noticed that Naruto was not looking at him. Instead, he was looking at his hand. Unlike before, something was actually in his palm this time. Then in his mindscape, it was a leaf. A single green leaf. Untouched, unspoiled. A smile graced the Jin. No. He was no longer a Jinchuriki. He could no longer feel a connection between him and the Kyuubi. The power that now coursed through him was now his own, forged into all of his being, into his cells and everything, making him up into this warrior. He owed the Kyuubi's life and so much more. He would do what the fox asked of him. The words echoed through his mind in the last moment of that light. Be the greatest there ever was, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto lifted up the leaf as he looked towards Pain. It was not entirely his fault why he was the way he was. While he could have chosen a different path, it was Danzo and Hanzo who created this Rinnegan user. It was them. Naruto vowed to Nagato and all those that were wronged by Danzo that he will make the man pay for all his transgressions. However, for now he had to deal with Pain before he saw the real Nagato. Learning from the fox, Naruto knew all of the Rinnegan abilities. Seeing the look on Pain's face, Naruto spoke up. Like it, he asked. I think I'm gonna call this new form Awakening. As Naruto released a leaf, before he seemed to fade out of reality, all Pain saw was a streak of yellow that appeared in front of him. Naruto's palm came out and slammed into Pain's chest. Time itself seemed to slow down as Naruto's hand pushed deeper into his torso, as there was an unseen force from the collision that caused the ground to crack and the air to explode. Pain was sent sailing like a bullet. He moved at such uncontrollable speeds that he could not regain his control to stop himself. As he was booming through the air, he crashed through trees and boulders, yet it would not slow him down. His body slammed and hit the ground, tearing trenches and ripping it apart. His path of destruction came to a stop as his back slammed into something, an unmovable object. As the object was none other than Naruto was holding him with his one hand, before he brought his leg up and kicked him straight up in the sky. Pain torpedoed up in the skies. He was once again unable to move. As he was moving at such speeds, his eyes were practically closed to stop the harsh winds from cutting into them. What is this? Where did he get this power from? As he turned his body, well, he tried to, as he saw glimpses of a yellow streak, something was walking up in the sky. As Naruto was using air pressure to shoot himself, moving at such speed he was breaking through the air pressure that Pain was flying in. He appeared right above Pain. Appearing before he could make another move. Time once again seemed to slow down as Naruto's feet spun, his whole body dead. But his feet was what came crashing down into his face. Pain's speed seemed to be multiplied by at least 3 as his body dropped, hitting the ground in a second with a violent, chaotic explosion. Another wide, deep crater was formed. Nagato could feel a connection between this body and himself cutting away. He could do nothing but watch as that golden streak remained in mid-air looking down at him. As Naruto seemed to drop like a lightning bolt itself, his body no longer looking like it was a human shape. As he dropped into him, Naruto ended up forming a crater that was the same size as the one that Pain formed as it spread through everywhere. Trees and boulders were sent sailing. The ground cracked and it was ripped apart by just the force of him dropping into Yaiko. Well, dead body. All of this happened within a few seconds as Naruto vanished. Naruto reappeared and caught the leaf before it could even drop to the ground. The leaf that he had released a moment ago. As Naruto arrived over there with nothing but immense speed, he was almost giddy at all the power that he now possessed. As a few words flashed through his mind from a wise old man in his youth. When the three-leaf dance, one shall find flames. The fire shadow will illuminate the village, and once again, the tree shall birth anew. The third Hokage words. As the words made Naruto remember why he became a ninja in the first place. Flashback. Hiruzen sat Naruto down. Naruto was 8 years old at the end of his decks. As Naruto had just been caught drawing graffiti on one of the walls of the buildings that refused to let him in. Now Naruto, why would you disrespect someone's establishment like that? Pouted he looked away as he crossed his arms. As Naruto huffed and puffed at the choice of words that Sarutobi used. How was he supposed to know what establishment meant? Because I just wanted to get something to eat. The guy was mean. He said that my kind was not welcome. As Naruto was talking about the owner that denied him access to the restaurant. Sarutobi pat him on the head. There are many things that you're too young to understand, Naruto, he said. As he walked and looked through the window, he gazed over the village. He then asked Naruto, why do you want to be a ninja? Naruto perked up here and that. Because ninjas are super cool, he said. They're super strong and people give them a lot of respect. When I become a ninja, I'm gonna be the greatest ever, said Naruto. I'm gonna become super strong in the village. Will have to respect me. Those are good reasons to become a ninja, yes. But those are not good reasons to become strong. Naruto raised an eyebrow and confused. Do you think I am strong, Naruto? He asked. Of course! You're the strongest ninja in the whole village, said Naruto. His arms making a large arc in the air as he said that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be Hokage. As Hiruzen chuckled once more. To Naruto's confusion, that is not entirely true. In this society, true power is not obtained from mastering all the world techniques. This is something many have deluded themselves in thinking. No, when there is something important to protect, that is when a true shinobi power emerges. As Naruto remained quiet as he tried to understand these words, Hiruzen came over and kneeled, so they could be at eye level. As he asked, would you ever let someone hurt me, Naruto, he said. Of course not, said Naruto. I would never let anyone hurt you, Jiji. Sarutobi pride along with his smile continued to grow as he reached, and poked Naruto right over his heart. That power, he said. The drive that you have to protect me is where true power comes from. I wonder, do you have it, as young as you are? The will of fire. As Naruto smirked brightly, before he nodded eagerly. In the flashback, all those years ago he did not grasp what Sarutobi had truly told him. However, now he fully understands. Naruto closed his eyes as his power spread. He could feel it, the maliciousness, the hate that radiated from Nagato. As he snapped his head off into the distance. As Naruto realized that he was not sensing the man chakra. Instead he was sensing Nagato's dark emotions. That was another interesting power given to him by his new form. He canceled his new awakening mode, as there was no need for it at the moment, as he was still clad in his clothing that he was wearing before. Katsuyu, snarly summoned miniature form, came crawling out as she rested on his shoulder. Though he did not say anything, she knew what he was gonna do. You should take reinforcements, she said. No, said Naruto. I'm going alone. As Naruto looked towards the leaf in his hand before, he placed it in his pocket. As he moved off beside the end, where the god had started. Meanwhile, Neji's mouth was wide and trembling as he continued to look off into the distance. His beard gun activated. He sat next to Sakura as she tended to his cousin Hinata, who had just awakened, and thanked her. The rest of his team stood there as some others were there as well. Neji-kun, what is happening? Said Rock Lee. Everyone saw the giant spear that was destroyed, and they felt Naruto's chakra. They were so happy for that. However, the feeling that Naruto's chakra gave off was different in some way. They just couldn't put their fingers on it. They knew nothing more about the battle than that. Neji's eyes had a hard time keeping up. The way Naruto decimated the final pain. His eyes had a hard time keeping up. Naruto was just too fast. Neji had blinked twice, and it was over. All he could make out in those several seconds is that Naruto fell from those rubbles, looking different. As Neji was unable to fully see him, his body was illuminated by so much power. Neji saw the shockwave that was released. A powerful shockwave before pain. Body was decimated and implanted in the ground. It was over so quickly. He was able to see a bit of Naruto new mode once he caught back the leaf. Until Naruto dropped it though. The dark chakra that he had released before was dark and corrupted, but this, it covered the village like a blanket. It was warm, comforting, and inviting. I don't really know, he said. All I can say is that Naruto defeated pain. Agreed, he's indeed correct. Naruto defeated the sixth pain, Katsuyu said. That shocked all of them. As Lee was the first one to pump his fist in the air. He did it, he said. How is he, said Sakura. Is he injured? He seemed to be. A lot better now than before, Katsuyu said. Sakura released a breath that she didn't know she was holding, as Hinata was on the verge of tears. Thank God, Naruto-kun. Thank God, she said. Tenten couldn't believe it. After what pain did to Konoha and his population. What a guy, she thought, as Naruto was able to defeat him. Where is Naruto-kun now, said Guy. I'm not sure. He took off after dealt with the last pain. Sakura huffed. What is the idiot up to now? As she was still worried. Katsuyu once again made her presence known. Right now he's heading to where the real pain is located. This shocked the others around them even more. What? That's too reckless. Neji turned to his sensei as he began to make a move to lead Guy. Let's go after him. Right. Wait. He doesn't want any help. All of them turned towards Katsuyu with shock on their face. What? After all of that? We can't just let him do this alone. Take us to him. I apologize, Katsuyu said, but I will not. Neji and Guy deflated at the summoned stubbornness. Sakura then said as her display of affection for Naruto, well, he better not do anything stupid. Meanwhile, Inoichi and Shikaku and another member of the Hyuga clan was traveling through the forest, having pinpointed the true pain's body. The Hyuga attention spiked when he noticed someone up ahead. What is it? Shikaku asks. It's Naruto. Naruto? As all three of them caught up. As Naruto was just standing there, he had sensed them a long time ago. That is why he slowed his pace down, so they could catch up. The three of them landed on a tree branch opposite Naruto. As Inoichi was the first one to speak. If you're here, does that mean you beat pain? As Naruto looked towards them, his expression hardened. Yes, he said. Even though the three had estimated that Naruto would deal with pain, it was still surprising to hear that someone that was once considered a dropout was able to topple a god. What happened? Shikaku said. Naruto knew knowledge of the world was going to make things extremely difficult for him. He was not ready to let anyone know about the knowledge he learned from the Kyuubi. Not until people were ready to understand and believe him. Truthfully, at the current moment, he wanted to forget about Nagato and go and kill Danzo. However, he was no fool. He could not just do that. While he did know the truth, he had no evidence, and Danzo was still a high-ranking member of the Hidden Leaf. So that is why he would be wary with the knowledge that he possessed now. It's hard to explain, said Naruto. Hard to explain, Inoichi said. What do you mean? A discussion for another time. Anyway, I'm going to confront the real pain. Please, do not follow me. I will do this alone, said Naruto. Wait, you know where he is? The Hyuga said, surprised. Naruto turned towards the Hyuga. The Hyuga felt a feeling of nostalgia, as it felt like the third Hokage was looking at him with a look of respect and power. The answer was short but firm. Yes, said Naruto. But why go alone? What on earth is going on? Inoichi said. There's something I want to find out, said Naruto. Inoichi couldn't understand what. Would he want to find out about pain of all people? He was Konoha's enemy, and he should be dealt with swiftly. Find out? Find out what exactly? I just want to talk. Inoichi grew frustrated. What the hell do you want to talk about? He said. I'm grateful that you defeated pain, but now is not the time to talk, he said. To the surprise of the three, Naruto did not lash out at Inoichi. He responded in a calm, gentle voice. So what then? Should I destroy him? His friends, his village, his loved ones? Will that solve everything that has happened? Said Naruto. Inoichi was quiet for a moment until he spoke up. What use will talking do? He's the enemy of Konoha. We can't just forgive him. As Naruto had a look on his face, a look of understanding. I feel the same, he said. I cannot forgive him for what he did to my village, my mentor, to everyone. I understand what you're feeling. But Believe in me, said Naruto. I want you to put your trust in me, just like I will put my trust in all of you to protect the village, to the best of your ability. The three of them were confused. Was this really Naruto Uzumaki? Inoichi, just let him go. As Inoichi turned, Shikaku, as Naruto cut him off. Listen, he's the only one who was able to stop pain. I'm sure he has a plan. Yes, but just let him go, Inoichi, Shikaku said. Naruto turned towards him. Thanks, Mr. Shikaku, he said. However, I do have one question. Shikaku looked at Naruto. And what might that be? Know that Tsunade is in a coma for protecting the leaf populace. What will Konoha do for the Hokage vacancy? Shikaku found that as a strange question to be asking, but a logical one. They will have a meeting between the higher-ups and the daimyos to see who will be best fit for intermediate Hokage position. Whether or not she wakes up after that, it will no longer matter. After about 2 months, a Jonin vote will be held to either bring back the previous Hokage or keep the intermediate Hokage. All the Jonin and clan heads will be the one to vote. Civilians do not get a say in the matter. I see. Where is this meeting going to take place, said Naruto. Now that question Shikaku did not answer. He didn't know why Naruto wanted to know that. I'm sorry, but I cannot divulge that kind of information to you. As Naruto gave him a look. Answer me, he demanded. The three were shocked. The way he demanded answers was just like how the third demanded them a long time ago, in a mode they called Hokage mode, when the third was dead serious. Shikaku now did not see any harm in telling him the location. Very well, he said. It will be held in the Hokage monument, behind the first Hokage carving. It is a council room, he said. When will it be held, said Naruto. It will probably be in a couple of days. The daimyo will need to be here, and it's a day travel from here to there. Naruto thanked him before he jumped away, as Shikaku watched him leave. As he remembers something his son said, when I'm with Naruto, he makes me want to walk with him. He's gonna be a very important ninja. Huh. Naruto Uzumaki, huh? What an interesting kid, Shikaku thought. Time skip. Naruto slammed his hand into the tray that was made from paper before. He ripped it open as he stepped inside. Konan, stay back. Nagato ordered from his mechanical walker, seeing Konan step in front of him. Nagato, she said. As a bead of sweat came down her face, she was unsure of how this would pan out, and she was worried. So, peace has arrived, huh? Said Nagato. Every person that died flashed through Naruto's mind as he looked towards Nagato. As Nagato asked, do you hate me? He said. Now that you see me here weak and vulnerable, you want your revenge, don't you? A chain of hatred. I created Akatsuki to break that chain. That is what he was previously told by Pain. However, it was different. He was being controlled by Obito, who was pretending to be Madara. If you kill Nagato and get your revenge, that will not change anything. It will only make you feel better, said Konan, trying to stop what she feared was going to happen. As Naruto's fists started to clench before he unclenched them. As Nagato was getting fed up with Naruto's silence, there is nothing you can do. You could not even give me an answer. Your role was to be a sacrifice that will bring peace to the world. That is the right answer. As a rod appeared right at the tip of its mechanical walker before it shot towards Naruto. As Naruto's awakening mode came alive, the projectile that would have slid right through him was ricocheted off his cloak, thrown as it burst right through the tree. Nagato already saw this form through the eyes of Yaiko. However, Konan, she felt it. The overwhelming power, ready to lash out. There was no hatred or darkness, but it was just so overwhelmingly powerful. Now that Nagato was so close to me, understand why he was no match. And Naruto was starting to understand how this new mode of his work. Naruto always had his own pool of chakra, more like a lake compared to others, but the Kyuubi's power was separated from that. The Fox's power was like an endless ocean compared to his, and he had full control over it. He could dip into it whenever he wanted, or he could just use his own. They were both his powers to control now. I came here to talk to you, said Naruto, but there was something else I wanted to find out too. Sweat started forming Nagato's brow. Something you want to find out, he said. I want to see how I would feel. Know that I stand in front of you, said Naruto. After everything you've done. And, said Nagato. Naruto's gaze met with Nagato and Nagato regret ever crossing this boy. The overwhelming power seemed to wash over him. Naruto's chakra became toxic and suffocating as Nagato was finding it hard to breathe. The yellow flickered into a crimson red for a few seconds, but it flickered back as Naruto grit his teeth hard. And I can't forgive you. I want to kill you so bad. I can't stop shaking, said Naruto. He vanished in a golden blur as Naruto's fist stopped an inch away from Nagato's face. Neither Konan or Nagato could do anything if Naruto wished to kill him right there and then. However, Naruto stopped. His awakening mode flickered away. As Naruto released a breath, Erasenin said the day would come when people truly understand one another. He had faith. Naruto stepped back, his trembling coming under his control. However, Nagato had to speak. But that does not change the fact that you cannot forgive me. Love and forgiveness cannot be bought out with pretty words. Yeah, you're right, said Naruto. Nagato was surprised. It's too late for Jiraiya idealism now. Tell me, said Nagato, you said that you would defeat me and bring peace to this world, didn't you? Even if that's just a way for you to selfishly have your revenge. It's your justice. That's fine, because you're not God. So let me ask, can you really believe Jiraiya nonsense after you've seen reality? As Naruto looked into his eyes, he saw hopelessness. He believed that Naruto did not have the answers that he needed, and that greatly saddened him. Naruto breathed in breath before he exhaled. Jiraiya believed the time would come when people truly understand one another. For that reason I asked you to tell me your story. You are Jiraiya's pupil as well. Help me understand what makes you into the man that you are today. After that, I will give you my answer. As Naruto was already fully aware of what happened to them, but he needed for them to open up to him. So from there on, Naruto listened. As he listened to everything about Yaiko, how they met, the night, his parents' death, everything. Once he came to a stop, Naruto did not speak a single word. As Nagato got fed up with the silence. Now you have heard my story, he said. So answer me, he said. Naruto lifted his jacket as he pulled a book out that was in his waistband. The Legend of the Gods and Ninja. The cover said, You know, in some ways, I think you're right. Really? Said Nagato, not expecting that. I understand you, said Naruto. But I still cannot forgive you. And I still hate you. Nagato knew what Naruto's words meant. Fine then, he said. Let's finish this. But, said Naruto, catching the two of them off guard. Erasenin believed in me, said Naruto. So, I'll believe in what he believed in. That's my answer. Nagato and Konan just looked at Naruto. So, I won't kill you. Nagato couldn't help but repeat Naruto's words. You will believe what Jiraiya believed in. I see, so that's your answer. So should we just sit here and wait for you to bring peace to this world? Nagato was irritated by that answer. Give me a break. How can I believe in Jiraiya now? There's nothing like real peace. It's impossible as long as we're living in this accursed world. Then I'll break that curse. And if there's such a thing as peace, I'll find it, said Naruto. It's what I've promised the people I hold dear. An image of Tsunade, the third, Aruka, Hiruzen, Jiraiya, all flashed through his mind. And even the fox. I will not give up. You, Nagato stumbled on his words. Nagato, what's wrong? Said Konan. Those words, said Nagato as he looked at Naruto. That's right. Those were the lines from this book, said Naruto. The first book Erasen never wrote. He wrote it trying to change the world. The Legend of the Gods and Ninja was Nagato's favorite book. He could still remember the first time he read it, once Jiraiya finished it. Jiraiya had said those same words. At the end, Erasen said that he was inspired by a pupil of his to write this. And that was you, Nagato. Impossible. That's just a coincidence, Nagato said. Do you remember the main character's name? When the name popped into his head, he had to stop himself from gasping. Naruto, he said. My name is a precious memento of him, said Naruto. And I will not give up and stomp on this memento. I'll become Hokage. And I'll make sure to bring peace for the Hidden Rain as well. Believe in me, said Naruto. Nagato hung his head as he started to chuckle, before it became a full-blown laugh. He looked up with tears of joy in his eye. Oh my goodness, I've not had a laugh like that in ages. Thank you, Naruto Uzumaki. Konan still could not understand the feelings that Nagato was trying to convey. Nagato, she said, I couldn't believe in what Jiraiya believed in, but you chose a different path. In you I can see a different future. He pulled his arms out of the goblets that trapped his arms. He brought them up. I'll believe in you, Naruto Uzumaki, he said. Gedo. Renitense Jutsu. Konan nearly lost as he heard him say that. Nagato, you can't. Konan, that's enough, he said. I have a new choice. A choice I've given up on a long time ago. As Naruto glanced towards Konan. What is that technique? The fox never mentioned something like that when discussing the Rinnegan power. He who controlled the Rinnegan is a master of all 6 pain techniques. They say he's outside life and death. Nagato was the 7th pain. He controlled life and death. She failed to mention that with the chakra levels that Nagato was currently at, it would take his life. As she continued to look at Naruto, such a unique child, who has changed Nagato completely. Meanwhile, in the center of Konoha, the king of hell rose up, as green light started to spread from its mouth, hitting all the bodies around. Ma, where am I? She must scream on top of her lungs as she saw Paw rose up. No way. As everyone looked around, seeing the dead rising. This is impossible. What's going on? Shikamaru blinked in confusion and shock. Ino was the one that called Shizune's death, but here, she was getting up. As everyone looked around confused. Kakashi too, said Choza. Kakashi, Choji said, as Kakashi opened his eyes looking around groggily. What happened, he said, as a human-sized Katsuya slithered up towards them. I'll explain everything. Time skip. The villagers are being revived, said Katsuya from Naruto's clothing. Then Naruto glanced back towards Nagato. His hair had turned completely white. As he released a jutsu. War brings death, wound and pain to both sides. There's nothing harder to accept than those you love dying. So you believe they could never die, especially those of your generation who never experienced war. You try to find meaning in death, but there's only dying, pain and hatred. That is war. This is what you must face. As Naruto looked at Nagato, nodded. And I will defeat it, he said. That brought a smile to Nagato's face. My role. It's over, he said. As a paper tree broke apart as Nagato, eyes closed. Konan paper spread as it went to find Yaiko's body to bring him back here. You're taking him too, said Naruto as he saw the body. This god realm, created from Yaiko's corpse. He was someone special to us, said Konan. What about you, said Naruto. I don't want to think that you would just return back to the Akatsuki. She shook her head. I'm through with the Akatsuki. These two were everything to me. If they entrusted their dreams to you, then now you are their dream, she said. Nagato believed in you, so I believe in you as well. The Hidden Rain will help you make that dream come true. Thank you for your support, said Naruto. If the Hidden Rain is ever in trouble, Akatsuki or otherwise, I want you to send for me. I don't care if it's on a hunch or assumption. If you feel like something bad's about to go down, let me know. I want to do whatever I can. Konan looked at him. There was look in his eyes. That strong, unwavering determination. It reminded her of her first love, Yaiko. I understand, she said. Thank you. Naruto smiled as she made her way back to the Hidden Rain. It was finally over, he thought to himself. He still had the fox power to tap into, but he was tired. Physically. As he had put his body through a lot, gaining that boost of power, everything. It was just Naruto tripped, however. He landed right on Kakashi, who was there to support him. Good job, he said, as he picked his student up in a piggyback ride. As Naruto started to chuckle. What's so funny, said Kakashi. This reminds me, after we saved Gaara, and my guy carried you on his back, and he ran all the way back to Konoha with you flopping around, said Naruto. Kakashi's sweat dropped. I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about. If something that embarrassing happened to me, I probably blocked it completely out of my memory. So I don't know what you mean, he said. As Naruto started to laugh once more. As they broke through the foliage, everyone was gathered. Welcome back! Naruto was stunned as he saw them all waiting on him. All of them. It caused a smile to come on his face. As Kakashi smiled as well under his mask. As the people started to call out his name, calling him a hero. But guys, be insubscribed right here. If you want to see the next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But guys, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace, guys.